Hello everyone, Randy here again, and we're playing Farming Simulator 15 on Sosnovka, the Gold Edition map from Farming Simulator 15. And we are working on cultivating up field 23. I did finish plowing this entire field here with the help of the hired worker, of course. And I will have to say I did finish my half of the field quite a bit quicker than the hired worker did. So now we're working on cultivating here. Quite a bit of overlap here for some strange reason. Not sure what's up with that, but anyway. And then I have our small Zetor tractor. Come on, there we go. Oh, okay, it took forever to raise up there. Got our small Zetor tractor working on planting. And we're just planting wheat, I believe, on field 19 at the moment. Probably plant the same thing on this field as well. Just plant all three fields the same, I'm thinking. Bigger cultivator would definitely be kind of nice at this point, especially now that we have this bigger field here. And I'll start off by reading a couple of comments here. One in particular from Kason. He says, thank you for my input. And that was in response to another question he asked. Would I recommend the Farming Simulator steering wheel? And maybe I'll comment on that in a minute. But anyway, read the rest of his comment here. He says he just ordered one. And just wondered, do I ever play multiplayer? Says he's a new subscriber. And yes, I do in fact play multiplayer. In fact, I got the multiplayer server, of course. We're running on the Munchwinkle map at the moment. And I just happened to notice I need fuel. Boy. Anyway, like I said, we're playing on the Munchwinkle map. Free to join. Just make sure you download the mods and hop on the server. And of course, obviously I do have the multiplayer series as well on that map. You know, let's go grab some fuel here a minute. Not that we're probably super desperate for it, but it's in the red and it's starting to get low. Which means I've got to find where the fuel is. Oh boy. I know where the seeds and fertilizer is. Fertilizer on the right, seeds on the left. Let's see what's here. You know what, I really haven't looked that close at this side. There's some more storage options over on this side, aren't there? Just take a quick look over here. Oh, is this? Oh, okay. This is. I was going to say this looks suspicious. It's a weight, and it's 6,000. 485. Probably kilograms, if I had to guess. Kilograms. Ah, there's the fuel. At least I'm assuming anyway. And for those you wonder, it seems like the up button on the steering wheel, on the D-pad, that seems to activate a lot of the functions. Fuel, for example, being one of them. So, you know, if I would open this up, it would send, I think it's a DP up is the button it calls it. Pressure washer uses that. There's a couple other things too that use it off the top of my head. I don't remember. Chainsaw, I believe, uses that one as well for a couple things. Like I said, it's kind of like the action button, if you will. And back to Kaysen's first part of the comment there. And I do keep getting questioned about this. Do I recommend the Farming Simulator steering wheel? And my short answer to that is yes. If you play Farming Simulator, I absolutely recommend the Farming Simulator steering wheel. The steering wheel is just designed to work with this game. Now, if you don't necessarily play so much Farming Simulator, but you play other games, you might want to consider a different steering wheel. But if your primary use for the steering wheel is going to be Farming Simulator, I would highly recommend you get the Saytech Farming Simulator steering wheel and the side panel. Jack was saying in the comments the Merit grain trailer is for FS 2013. That would probably explain why it didn't work on the server. Because I did put it on the server and it said wrong. I don't remember the exact error message it gave. It's like, oh, okay. I just deleted it back off. Comment from Paul here, and he's been commenting a couple of times here as of late. Been having some trouble trying to get on the multiplayer server, and it sounds like we finally figured out what his problem was. And his comment says he found the problem. He said it was his router, removed it from his network, and was able to log into the multiplayer game without any problems. He was also able to get into the LS 2015 site without any problems as well. Says he'll have to check the port settings on his router to maybe open them. And I don't know what routers he's using that would be blocking that type of thing. It seems kind of odd that it blocked the multiplayer server. Same thing with like it's blocking the LS 2015 website. Seems like kind of strange. I've never seen a router do that before. But then again, I typically all the routers I buy are Linksys routers. Be a little prejudiced. That's basically the only router I'll buy and use. And I've set up many Linksys routers in my time, and I can't say I've really ever had much trouble with any of them, so. Oh, our other Zetor has finished. Oh, he's not finished. He's out of seed. Yeah, I look up at the glance mod there, it says he's finished. I'm like, oh good, I'll move him to the next field. Lies. Gotta go refill him. He's not finished, he's just empty. And apparently I must have a mod or something that makes me refill him. And, you know, typically a hired worker, once he runs out, he just keeps going. But I'm not sure what mod I have that's causing this, but once he's out of seed, he stops. And, you know, I don't mind that so much. And it's probably Yep, DP button up here again. Kind of annoying because it is also the zoom button. Alright, it works. Speaking of which, been playing with the Farming Simulator steering wheel for what, about 2 weeks now, I think. So I think I've had enough time to kind of figure out the controls. Not that I know what they all do yet, but I'm thinking the purple buttons, a lot of these control finances, shop, that screen. I'm thinking I'm going to unconfigure all of those. Why did my... Oh. I was going to say the tractor shut off because of that. And then also buttons 2 and 3, slow down and speed up time. Thinking I'm probably going to reconfigure all those buttons. Got to start from the other way, don't I? And just from what I've used it so far, those seem like to be the least useful buttons to me. So I can use them for other functions, like drive control mod, for example. Start the tractor, release the parking brake. And then I'm also thinking maybe some GPS functions, because that's another mod I use quite a bit of. The auto steer. Don't necessarily use much else with the GPS. But, auto steer, I'm constantly enabling, disabling auto steer. Not that I necessarily have to disable, usually just turn the wheel, disables it, but at the very least I'm usually enabling it, which means I have to reach across to my keyboard to enable auto steer. And yeah, as far as the buttons go, 4, 5, 9, 10, those are a lot of your implement functions there. Turn on, unfold, rotate. Not sure, I'd have to look at what the other one does again. 17, 18, 19, 20. Again, some more implement functions, attach, detach, hire worker, get in and out of the tractor. So, I don't think you want to change those buttons. Those are pretty good the way they are at. And then 11 through 16 are lights. Again, you could probably change some of that. Let's see if I remember here. 12 is lights on. I guess this tractor doesn't have any other lights, does it? 11 is a beacon if you have one. 13 is the flashers. And 15, I'm not sure what 15 is on this one either. Again, this tractor doesn't have a whole lot of lights, so... 21, by the way, switches between implements. And there's only one on this tractor, so I can't do that. Button 23 is an interesting button, I found. It raises all implements. Very nice button. If you're, like, mowing, and you got, like, front mowers and rear mowers. I definitely see that as coming in handy. I actually had that button configured on my G27 for raise and lower all implements. And nice to see Giants actually put a button for that on here. Obviously I've only got the one implement at the moment, so it doesn't do a whole lot of good, but if I had multiple implements, I could raise and lower them all. 24 is the map, and 22 is the F1 menu. Or help menu. Kind of covers some of the basic controls. Also, something I'll say about the steering wheel as well. You folks thinking about maybe just getting the steering wheel or maybe just the side panel. If you plan on doing forestry, I would suggest you get both. Because there are controls on the steering wheel and controls on side panel, and you basically are going to want to have both in order to do forestry properly with the Farming Simulator steering wheel side panel here. I know when it was first coming out, you know, they said it's got the loader control here, the multi-axis control input as they call it. You know, it's going to be selectable on that, which function you can control, and it is, but it only controls so many functions. The rest of the functions are on the steering wheel, so just something you folks may want to note if you're thinking about getting one and debating whether or not you want to just get the side panel or the steering wheel. I know initially I was actually thinking about just getting the steering wheel because I do have a G27 already. And it's like, what am I going to do with another steering wheel? But with the way Forester works, I'm glad I did get steering wheel and side panel. So otherwise, like I said, you'd kind of be missing like half of your axis controls. And that is something that kind of threw me for a loop at first too. You know, they said it'd be selectable on the loader control here. And like I said, it is. But the other half of the functions are on the steering wheel, so I did not expect that one. It took me a little while to actually figure that one out. That is one thing I think Giants or Satec or Mad Cats, whoever... There's like 3 people involved with this steering wheel. I'm not sure who actually... I guess technically Mad Cats, I believe, is the... Mad Cats and Satec are technically the developers, builders of the steering wheel. And designers, I should say, as well. But I think one thing they could definitely benefit from is a layout sheet telling you what all the controls do and are for. You know, just giving some basic... You know, this button does this button does that type of thing. I'm not aware there's anything like that at this point, so... for example, if you look in the Farming Simulator manual, there is a layout for an Xbox controller, if I recall correctly. Or if it's not in the manual, you can get it from somewhere. There's actually a layout that shows you what all the buttons on an Xbox controller will do. You know, they need the same thing for the steering wheel. Oh, I thought that Zetor would be finished by now. Looks like he's getting pretty close over there. Like I said, we'll get him planting on this field, and we'll probably just plant the same thing, wheat, on all 3 fields. And this reminds me, I did get a question a while back. Someone was asking, can you plant on plowed ground? Yes, you can in Farming Simulator. I'm not saying it's the most realistic, but in Farming Simulator you can plant on plowed ground, so you know, technically I do not have to cultivate this. I could plant it straight if I wanted to. But for realism's sakes, I am going to cultivate it. Yeah, in real life, especially with this type of plow, the ground would be way too rough to actually be planted. Probably going to have to refill the seeder several times on this field, I'm thinking. Speaking of this field, I was a little disappointed there. Folks watched, the last episode. I did a high speed of me plowing this field, and unfortunately, like halfway through, the footage got corrupted, and I lost like... Come on, cultivator. There we go. I lost like half the footage of the plowing, so it's like, oh well. I still got, what, half hours worth, I think. Took me, for those who are wondering, how long did it take me to plow this field? Took me a total of 50 minutes. with the hired worker's help, of course. You know, the hired worker did this half the field, and I did that half the field. So 2 plows going at it, 50 minutes. But yeah, it's a pretty good chunk of change, but not too bad. Oh, looks like the set tour is almost done over there. And I'm thinking probably our next purchase for the farm here is probably going to be another tractor. Whether, I don't know if I want to get another one of these tractors really. I'd like to get something different. What is he? Oh, he might actually be done now. Like I was saying, I'm not sure if I want to get one of these tractors. I'm just going to hire him a moment while I this guy's set up. Let's see, did you actually... I finished it right to the end. Nice. Nothing missing. I probably don't want to get another one of these, I don't think. I'm thinking like the next size up. And hopefully this bigger field, 23 here, will help us reach that goal. Okay, and we'll hire him as well. And I think what we'll do, folks, it's pretty much just going to be me going up and down the field some more, so I think I'll wrap up the episode here. And with that, if you folks have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them below. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time.